I want to show you how to set up a button that will open up a web page directly from the PDF. What I have open is the Cake Order Form -print button. And a print button has been added right here. And that print button only shows up if it's not being printed. Visible but doesn't print is its property for hiding it. So buttons have some interesting pieces to them. And let me give you a scenario for a user. They've filled out this cake order form, and that's the form we're looking at. The idea is we want to make it available for them to be able to print it if they want their own copy or want to remember or have access to the flavors that we offer. But I also, if they're viewing it online, want them to be able to trigger or go out and access our website. So I want to create a second button similar to the print form, but this one, instead of when I click it, it triggers the print command, such as this. What I want to do is take them to our cake website. So let's create a button to do that. I'm out here in the OK. Now I could click this and create a brand new button in this area. The other option is if I click the select object and I select this button right here, what I can do instead of having to draw and figure out how to exactly match it, I'll right click and say create multiple copies. What that's going to do is move me into this interface, and by default it always populates this with 2. I only want 1 across the page, but I'm going to copy. I want 2 horizontally, 1 vertically, 1 row, so to speak. Now, what that does is create an exact duplicate of this one. Now, the position is a little bit tight in terms of these 2 buttons. So what I'm going to do is click this right. Now, I have both buttons selected when I'm doing that. So that might not be exactly what I want. So I'll move it back, click OK, and notice I now have 2 identical buttons. But what it did was it actually gave it a unique name within my name for the form. So let me first of all move this to the right just a little bit. I'll select this button and I'm going to hit the right arrow keys on my keyboard, and that'll move it over a little bit for me. Now, the other thing I need to do is modify both names on these buttons. And let me change this one first. So I'll double click this new one. You can see there's the name. And I'm going to say visit our website. Click here to visit our website. Now what's unique about using that command where I right click and choose create multiple copies is it copies all of the properties of that particular item. So if I open up the properties area for this button, you can see that in the form field it says visible but doesn't print. So this one won't show up when it's being printed either. What I want to do now in the options area is give it some new text that says visit our website. And we'll see if that text fits. And let me go back to the hand and check it out, and it certainly does. Because the button's fairly wide, I could even make the text in these bigger. But I'm only at 52% right now. Let me open this up just a little bit bigger for you. So there are our 2 buttons. This one triggers the print command, and it doesn't show it when it's being printed. What does this one do? If I click on it, it says visit our website, but it takes us to the print command. So I need to remember to change every piece of this that was duplicated from my print form. The other thing I need to do is notice my print form has the .0. You can't have two form fields with the exact same name for a button. So I'll double click it, go over to the General tab, and I'll just get rid of that .0. Because I renamed this second button, I can now go back to this one and get rid of that .0. Let's look at the actions for this one. And if I move out to the actions area, the reason I'm triggering the file print command is because that's what I have listed here. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is if I choose the file print command, notice these buttons don't activate. The action we're actually triggering is execute a menu item. As soon as I choose that, I can click the delete key, which is what I wanted to do. Now the action I want to choose for this button is to go out to the website. So let's choose a different option from the drop-down, and notice here is open a web link. I'll choose that and click add. Now this is the piece you have to be aware of. If you're going to add a URL, you need the http://. That tells your operating system that you're going out to the internet, and Acrobat included. So just like when you create a link for a web page, you have to do this same thing. Otherwise, it's going to try and look for a file with that name on your own system. So let's go out to trainsimple.com. I'll click OK, and you can see I now have that action lined up. I'll close it up, and let's test it out. I'll move over to the hand. I know the print form is working because I tested it after I changed the name. Visit our website, I'll have to double check. Now this is something that is always triggered within Acrobat. It does not mean that you're doing anything wrong. The user always has to allow the system to go from a PDF out into another program from here. So I'm going to say, remember this action for this site for all PDF documents, and I'll click allow. That allows me as a user to say, this site is always okay to go to from a PDF document. So I'll say allow, and what it's going to do is move out to trainsimple.com. Out on the internet, the HTTP piece actually triggers the browser, and the browser goes out based on that information to the website. So I'll close that up. We know that one's working, and our print form is working as well. So we are all set with our form. So that is how you can create a button specifically to go out and trigger the browser to open and go out onto the internet and access a web page. And just to show you that command one more time, the one you want to choose is open a web link within the actions area for that button. Just remember to add the protocol, the http:// in front of the website name. Otherwise, this feature won't work. And keep in mind, anytime you do this, the user does have to click that allow button. Otherwise, it's blocked and the user actually won't be taken to this website. But that is how you can use the open a web link action within Acrobat on a button within a form, specifically a PDF form.